Okay, so here's the first of the core minis. So this is Silas the Elf. He kind of looks like Silas the Undead. I don't know what happened to his eyes. I'm pretty sure I painted them at one point, but they look missing from now. But yeah, so you can kind of check out. So I just got some ideas. My highlighting there is very, very harsh. I had no idea how to really use the shader very much with that. The color schemes were a bit off. I tried to follow the artwork the best I could. Even though I don't think it looks great, you might think it looks acceptable. And it definitely looked better than just the gray minis that were totally unpainted. So again, Silas is loads of fun. With these Zombicide games, boy, if you got somebody who's a good shot with an arrow, it makes life so much easier in those. So next up, we have Nellie the Barmaid. And so Nellie kind of has some crazy eyes there, if I can get it in focus a little bit for you. And this is another one of these things where it's like, how do you paint white? And you just can't. You can't paint white very well if you're going to use any type of a shader. It just makes it look like mud. But this is medieval times, and she is a barmaid, so you would not expect the clothing to be bright white anyways in that regard, but she does look pretty ferocious. Some green eyes, some red hair, and that is a big sword. And fighting zombies in sandals is pretty awesome, if you ask me. Next up, we have Baldric, the wizard. And I tried to make him more boring than he is, but I couldn't. I don't know what that green thing is on his waist. I don't remember what I was going for when I painted him. And the same thing, his eyes look kind of vacant, and he looks like he's starving, like he's wasted away somehow. And he also has a giant, massive sword. I don't know what he's going to do with that. I couldn't wield that one-handed, so he's got to be a pretty strong dude, because that thing is ginormous. And it looks like he's got some bird skulls hanging off his belt there. And his staff looks like just a piece of wood. He doesn't look super intimidating. He just looks kind of maybe like a hobo. Yeah, I'd like to see him do more magic. Next up would be Anne the Nun. And she looks like from the movie Scream, like wearing one of those masks. And yeah, check out those highlights on the robe. I might need to go back and redo some of these things, because it's pretty bad as I'm looking at these. And you can see the bases. I didn't do much with these things. I was playing the game, and I was putting the colored rims around the bases for all the characters, and so I never worried about doing anything fancy with the basing on them. But you know, having a nun in armor wielding a couple swords was actually pretty cool. And I will say, she is a bit of a badass in this game, particularly when it comes to charging in on other zombies. Next, we would have Clovis. And Clovis I painted last because I really wanted to gain some skill when I started painting him. And even though maybe he looks better than some other folks, again, I look on this nowadays, and after having painted for a whole year, and I know that I could paint this better if I were to do it again. But he doesn't look terrible, and you know, I was able to highlight some of the trim on the armor, and a little bit better on the cloak. I wasn't sure why I went with the blue hair. Maybe that was what looked good on the artwork. It just didn't look great for the mini itself. And last but not least was Samson the Dwarf. I thought his highlights looked pretty good on that leather apron of his. And, you know, as cool as he looks, you know, for a battle dwarf, What is up with the tiny hammer? It's like a ball peen hammer that this guy's carrying. And what's the deal? And he's got like an anvil on his hip. Who does that? Who goes into battle with an anvil on their hip? And a tiny, tiny hammer. I don't know what he's looking to accomplish there. But I think he could have been better prepared for the zombie horde. So anyways, that's what we have. That's the 6 heroes from the Zombicide core box. And so next time we'll be trying to show you, or we will be showing you, the zombies. So we'll get out the abomination, the necromancer, and then most of the zombies that I painted, the cannon fodder zombies. So we look forward to talking with you guys soon. Take care.